Hello. Oh, what have I done here? I've clicked stuff. Let me hear you scream. Ah! There you go, Jadis. Is that what you wanted? That's... If you actually see me play Apex or when I get genuinely scared, it'll be, oh! That's how I scream. I'm not peeking at all, am I? Do this. And see my beautiful, beautiful face. Thank you. I'm glad you found it an attractive scream. Let me. I need to like tweet or something. Bear with me. You're getting the admin. You're getting the. That's what you really wanted here. I stream. You come to watch. Yes. https:// www.twitch. Yep. /BoredGamer UK. Perfect. No, that's a private message to someone. That's how they are. Bam. There you go. I'll do that. You have that. And I can close Discord. Is it grabbing stuff from Discord? Yes. So I've got a chat program that just grabs a load of things from lots of different feeds, and I want to get more stuff integrated into it. Like I'd like to get Twitter integrated into it, Discord fully integrated with it, because it sort of grabs some stuff from certain channels. I'm not sure how it works. I'll probably get DC to look at it at some point, or like Huntress or someone. Okay, make my life better, because that's what I do. I cunningly use people to my advantage. I'm a monster. I've got new glasses. Look at my wonky weird eyes. That's how God made me, or whatever you believe made me. The potato made me. These are expensive glasses. Well, expensive for me because I'm a thrifty mother trucker. They are blue light filter and computer glasses and things. I was like, you know what? I'm using my glasses more and more. When I play games, I can play games longer and I can aim better when I have glasses. You love my bastard face. I'm doing all right, thanks. Like, I want to go over a few things today because it's been an odd week for me. Just been a bit. But typically, I'm pretty tired all the time. Like, I'm pretty bad insomnia. It's not a bad thing. It's like it's just a thing. And I do a lot of reading and watching anime and like painting and whatever. Playing games. Typically, it's mostly playing games. But sometimes I'm sort of like super busy with like life as well, and I don't have enough time to do stuff. So there's been a lot of stuff recently where I've wanted to do Carrack adventures. Like, we've got the Carrack in 3.8.2. I bought the skin upgrade. I wanted to play with Carrack. Now, there's problems with that at the moment because I've been super busy with life over the last few days, and there's still desync issues with 3.8.2, making multiplayer gameplay less than ideal when I want to do stuff on a ship. Oh, thank you very much, Tracy J. I'm more distinguished now. I think I appreciate it. I don't care about getting old. I do care about getting fat and unhealthy. I don't mind about being actually physically looking fat or looking like a weird hobbit potato boy like I am. That's no problems. I just don't want to be unhealthy. Like at the moment, I'm on a proper health drive. Some of the reasons I've been busy with life is helping out some friends with. I tested a new VR experience out at an escape room, a VR escape room place. One of my mates sort of does VR escape. Does escape rooms, and they added a VR experience there. So I was testing that out. Is server performance really good now? It's stable-ish. It's pretty stable compared to what we previously had. At least when I play, it is. Server stability and server tick rates are getting better. Server-side container streaming is not fully implemented. They need to do a lot more optimizations to it. And I wouldn't refer to it as really good. I refer to it as in a good-ish state. Really good for alpha. Yeah. So, and then the other day I went out to play board games, which I probably shouldn't have. Which sort of took more time away. But at the moment, so I'm kind of looking after my my dad. I'm looking after my parents, but looking after my dad mainly, who's recovering from cancer. And at the moment, he's been a bit weird. Okay, so my parents are terribly worried about the coronavirus. I'm not so much. They're hoarding things. I looked in my house the other day, and I realised that I had like 4 dozen hand sanitizing things. And I was like, oh, that's where they've gone from the shops. My parents have bought them. Did notice a larger amount of toilet rolls than I've ever noticed in the house before. It's not excessive, really. Well, it's excessive, but it's not like mad. The hand wash was like, what have you got this? And then I saw like the virus sort of like care kit, which was a big box of Lemsip Max Strength. That'll save you. Yeah, they're worried about it because my dad obviously has respiratory problems. But this is the problem at the moment, and I'm going to tell people here because it's been, but people might see certain things as personal. I don't. Like, I share a lot of stuff. Some stuff's probably personal that I will keep to myself. My dad is really stubborn when it comes to taking medication, and he just started doing it. Like, he doesn't take his inhaler when he should, and he wheezes because of that. And he's not taking his, as far as I'm aware, his blood pressure medication. And I don't know why. And he's been in bed a lot recently. And he had a really bad migraine the other day. And he's just sort of like not himself. And so me and my mother have had a word with him. Like I said, take your fucking medication, that's not fair on us, sort of thing. I mean, I know there's stages of like grief and facing up to mortality and existential crisis and cancer and stuff that you go through. And I just hope it's like that and he'll snap out of it. I hope it's not like long-term depression or something. But yeah, so that's been sort of like grating on me a little bit and just worried about him. And it's a little bit of a selfish worry as well. Like, I want him in my life. I know it's his decisions to make, but it's not just his decisions to make. It does affect me. I want him to live longer. It's not like he's in it. I don't understand, and he's not willing to explain to me why he doesn't take his meds. It's baffling to me. It's like, you're hurting yourself and us. I'm sure there is a reason. I'm sure there's some sort of weird justifiable reason. Hopefully he'll just snap back into it.
BoredGamer, hope you are well. Also, those glasses make you look smart.
Triton, I promise you that it's just the look. It's up here is all just fucking mashed potato meat. I appreciate the love. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the subs. It seems like we haven't heard much about server-side object container streaming version 2. I mean, they're sort of just optimizing server-side object container streaming. You'll see improvements in 3.9 and beyond that. Server meshing. They talk about server meshing in the monthly report. It's something that they want to have almost ready by the end of this year. More likely it'll be Q1, Q2, sort of like the first implementation of server meshing next year. And then there's further optimizations to the servers and stuff to come after that. There's static server meshing first, and then the dynamic server meshing. They do talk about it. They just don't. They haven't done a full-on, focused, near-future server-side object container streaming or server meshing sort of like inside Star Citizen yet, which you will get at some point in the near future. What have we got this week, actually? So, So we've got a AMA on Spectrum on Wednesday at 4 PM UTC, which is looking at the player status system. So that's the food, drink, and heat and weather and stuff. And then on the Inside Star Citizen, we're getting the latest updates on mining and a tour of the Asperia Prowler. So with that in mind, mining. I know some stuff about the mining that's coming in 3.9 now. So there was a Bar Citizen in Liège. Is that in Belgium? I think that's in Belgium, actually. There was a Berlin Bar Citizen. But I also remember there's a Bar Citizen in Liège. That was in Belgium. I might be wrong, but there was a Bar Citizen somewhere else in Europe other than the UK, because we've left Europe. Apparently, we've got little skyrockets. We've blasted off into space. We are having a little sovereign nation just up there. That's the plan. Get away from all the viruses and stuff. But yes, so there was a thing from them, and the guys that helped run it. Who was it? A second. Commander Fran? The Commander Fran that did it? I think that one of the organisers of that Bar Citizen got to interview Dan Truffin. And they got to interview Ulf as well. I suspect there's more interviews going on there. So it looks like 3.9 is going to have Quantanium. It's going to have the quantum mineable substance, and that is the volatile cargo that they're adding in 3.9. So you get, you mine like from rocks or whatever, Quantanium. You've got to get it back to a certain, to get to the refinery or the trade kiosk before it explodes. And if you take too much damage or you take too much time, then it either explodes or it's worthless, is the idea there. So the ore can explode, which is going to be interesting because people aren't probably going to want to pirate you if you could explode, but they might just want to attack you because it's funny to watch people go on how big the explosion is. But it also looks like there's mining consumables in 3.9, sort of like been confirmed now by Dan Truffin as well, which is cool. They want to get in the ability to sell location data as soon as possible as well. They like use the Terrapin as scanners and other ships that have got powerful scanners to find asteroids that you can then sell the locations of those to other miners and stuff. So getting refineries in, getting that locational data stuff in is a priority, it seems. I'm not sure if that's going to be in 3.9. In fact, it probably isn't, as far as I'm aware. Oh, Dalamars, come on. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Gifting 5 subs to Ro 671, DeathGhosts, Bisbock, JenanTahnik, and noromus. Thank you very much appreciated, Dalamars. You're a legend among men and people. Christopher Grump, love your news videos. Best of luck. Cheers. Thank you very much appreciated. I appreciate the love. Jadis, thank you very much. I love your face as well. I've already said Jadis. I mean, I screamed for you earlier. Just keeping up with Mantis. Yeah, thank you, Dalamars. It's appreciated. I love that you guys chuck me loads of random money, subs, and other stuff. It's very much appreciated. It makes me sort of like smug. Content creator smug. Thanks for the money. So yeah, with food stuff. Food? What did I say? Food. So with the some other stuff. So they want to get in the ability to transfer fuel between ships, but it's going to be a physical connection. So it's not going to be in like 3.9. They're working on it. They also want to get the transfer of goods and be able to trade money between players and items between players more easily. So that's going to be a thing in the future. Again, not for 3.9, but it is a priority, it looks like. Survival system wise, what did they say there? Oh, so they talked about it's not just the cold planet of Microtech. Different atmospheres in 3.9, different planets are going to be different heat to cold. So you are going to see Daymar, for example, being very hot. And you're going to have to wear the appropriate gear on Daymar, otherwise you will not be living on Daymar for very long. In the future, they've talked about radiation and viruses as well. Potentially get a virus or an illness and actually spread it around in Star Citizen, which would be interesting. It'll be very World of Warcraft. Remember the that virus that spread from one of the raids? You know, on World of Warcraft? Where they had to literally cull the whole server. Because people would spread it to NPCs, and they just keep on spreading it to more and more people. That was mad. But yeah, and then they talked a bit about, I think that they talked to Ulf. Ulf said there's going to be more referral rewards in the future. They're looking at getting more community managers. Calling All Devs is going to start soon. We could see esports for Star Citizen in the future, maybe. It's at the moment, they don't know. Yeah, there's some cool stuff there. I'll probably do a video on that. I saw Super Mac Brothers video on it, which is why I was aware of that interview in the first place. Although I did turn up to the live stream at one point and have a little look-see there. But I didn't realise there was going to be interviews with devs. So that was quite interesting. I will link this for you as well. Yeah, I thought that was not in poor taste, but unfortunately timed, having a talk about, yeah, we can have illnesses spread in Star Citizen. But, yeah, can we? that's topical. Gib Salvage. So I am expecting to see Salvage later this year. That's my expectation. because they moved it off the roadmap. I would expect it to go back on for like 4.2, something like that. But again, as I said, that's just my expectation. There's something that they really need to start giving us more gameplay loops. Theatres of War, they've said they wanted it in our hands by the second end of second quarter, in the first half of 2020, basically. We could see that go to Evocati at some point in the not-too-distant future, potentially as part of the 3.9 branch, I would expect, but sort of like, it can be entirely self-contained. It doesn't have to be part of a release for 3.9, if you see what I mean. If it's for Evocati, you can just be like, yeah, it's the same separate module thing on the PTU. It's just got Theatres of War in it. Do you see what I mean? So this is the other thing, is that I was expecting Evocati to go live over the weekend, and as far as I'm aware, it's not. I mean, the only real Evocati information I will ever give anyone is, has the Evocati phase started? That's pretty much it. That's sort of like more public knowledge. But beyond that, I'm tied to an NDA. I will cover leaks from the Star Citizen, leaks that are not about Evocati patches. But that's pretty much it. That is my stance on that. I do appreciate all the love. All I do, really, is give a mixture of Star Citizen news and sort of like a compressed detail. Talk about Star Citizen a lot, talk about hot topics a lot, and then give my opinions on some things. I do think I hopefully provide condensed news for people, and people seem to like that. I do notice some people that clearly don't like me. The same 3 people, but typically the same one, which I actually think some might all be the same person. But they've got a real hate boner for me. I see them in sort of like Spectrum. I got an admin actually contacted me and said, "Have you seen this on Spectrum?" And I was like, "Oh, report it, but they're entitled to their opinion." I will not name them. But I do think people need thicker skins, typically, except when it's like, you know, constant, like, proper, demonstrable lies, or, you know, stuff that's more sort of like should be policed rather than. I'm quite a free speech advocate, so it's hard for me to go, "I don't like this guy, do something about him." I'm here to hear what BoredGamer is going to be talking about for 3.9. Good, I'm glad. But the final count, what? I've not been delayed to 4.0, or have I? Hearing fumblings is just like the way I move. Like a big clompy man. I've actually lost quite a lot of weight. Quite a lot of weight. So, interested in people's experiences with 3.8.2. Are you still seeing a load of desync? What's people's stability like? Like, I have good stability in Star Citizen and high frame rates. I think a lot of the time, because of the time I play, and also my rig and everything I do is geared with Star Citizen in mind. So, a lot of the time, people will have a different experience to me. And there's obviously going to be loads of edge cases as well. Will the Idris M be back on sale again? I doubt it. You're about to get it in-game. Or the components to make an Idris M. So you're about to get that Idris P at the very least. I would expect to see the Idris P go on sale again. Yeah, so 3.9 PTU, I was expecting to go to Evocati over the weekend. It hasn't yet. I've been informed by a couple of people I know that work for CIG that they're trying to get it in our hands as quickly as they can. At least that's what I believe from potentially inferring information from them rather than I've been directly told, admittedly. But I would expect it in our hands. I'm expecting CIG are literally trying to get a build ready to go to Evocati. That could be any time. It could be today. Could be tomorrow. Board lives in Hollywood, California. You can tell by his tan skin and ripping physique. Thank you. Don't know. I'm a pasty white weak boy. So, got a very special kind of six-pack. You've twisted your ankle, like. Oh my god, what's your name? Will CIG add toilet paper as valuable cargo? At the moment, yes, the most valuable. Who knew after Brexit we were going to go to a toilet roll based economy in the UK? But we have. You're not going to have the poo-poos in 3.9, but they are going to add hygiene and I believe the poo-poos and the wee-wees in an update to the player status system in the future. I'm expecting that hygiene in general will be counted as one thing, so that's wee-wee and poo-poo, and cleaning yourself. It's like showers and baths and stuff. Can I open the back of my Avenger and poop on the ship behind me? I don't think we're going to have an option just to freely poo like you would in... What's the game? Ark. Looks like I'm walking on the ship with a selfie cam. What we got? Why is this? I always knew it's the mystery song. It's always so quiet. Actually, let's go for First Light first. And these songs I really love. What have we got? Where are we going? What are we doing? How are we doing it? So I think the subscriber flare for this month potentially is glow sticks. Some branded glow sticks in different colours. That's what people have suggested. Yeah, I think salvage is really, really important. Like we need it this year, in my opinion. Like we want it this year. So yeah, there's a lot of media that just do general scare things, and that's what with that virus and all the stuff. It is made out to be more scary than it is. Sort of don't panic. You'll almost certainly get through it fine. Just be sensible. Don't go around licking people's faces. Make informed decisions about where to travel to. If you're going to a concert where you might be surrounded by a load of people, think about that before you go there. Just be sensible and safe. Any updates on Habsboard? So, realistically, CIG are working on a lot of tech towards physicalized Habs and persistent Habs. Like, we know that they can have in-game if they want rooms at landing zones and stuff that are saved rooms. They move around and that sort of stuff because they've had them in the past. They move around and but they can have all the... They could put like teddy bears in one room and then we'd be at like room 3 on floor 1. But the next time we logged in, we'd be on the top floor in room 5, but it would still be the same room with all the teddy bears that we put in it. You see what I mean? So they can do that sort of stuff now, but obviously we want physicalized addresses and persistent tabs. And that's something that they need to get the iCache done for, full persistence done for, probably server meshing done for as well. Because you really need to have that server meshing tech to be able to save that data and have it seamlessly transfer across and stuff and stream it in and out easily and sort of like partly core of that. I mean, there's an argument that it could be physical inventories as well. Well, it's more than an argument. One of the reasons you'd want a physicalized tab is so that you want to be able to put items down in there, to take your armor off, put it there, put it all in storage and stuff like that. So you'll see physicalized hangers, physicalized tabs and stuff like that in the near future, or at least in the not too distant future. One of the things that CIG have put on the roadmap for 4.1 is the cargo deck. And the cargo decks are additions to space stations and landing zones that basically sort your cargo needs out. So you can have your ship loaded and unloaded there. You have somewhere to sell your cargo and trade in cargo. And it's sort of like moving towards more and more of those cargo mechanics and those trade mechanics and those ship maintenance and admin mechanics as well. And they want times associated with transferring goods on and off. You might be able to pay to get it expedited. Wouldn't salvage require the iCache? Not necessarily. So first implementation of salvage could be done in a very similar way to mining. Beyond that, I think the iCache is probably very sensible for salvage, as is a much more implemented full persistence / server-side container streaming, or even server meshing. But again, they can implement a very simple version of it without that, which could be very similar to mining. They could just be on salvage sites that are fixed, rather than any wreck. Do you see what I mean? Bored, excellent content as always. Thanks, man. Any love for Arena Commander soon? Battlegrounds? Any ETA? Thanks. Expect to see the maps in Arena Commander expand at some point. Obviously, they've got Theatres of War. So at the moment, they are focusing on the amalgamation of Arena Commander with Star Marine, putting those together, and getting Theatres of War in our hands. And that's probably going to be the main focus of the guys that do Star Marine and Arena Commander, in my opinion. Although any updates that Star Citizen's Persistent Universe gets, the other two will get as well. Other three will get as well, I suppose, now. Have you seen the article from the recent Bar Citizen? Yeah, I talked about it earlier. I will probably do a video on that, because there's some information that I can merge with just the monthly report and stuff. When do you expect the physics grids and the other physics things? Well, physics grids already exist. They've got morphing physics grids, animated physics grids that the sort of like Hull C needs to be able to compress and expand and contract. Also, I think it's partly associated with parasite docking as well. So ship-to-ship docking, ship-to-station docking. It's all sort of like partly based on physics, and the merging of physics grids and all that sort of jazz. But also there's physical damage system, which will realistically take into account various different types of damage and stuff like that into a sensible system, and where it actually hits on your ship, and does it penetrate, does it go through, does it hit a component, and you want physicalized components. Which component is actually physicalized in the ship. If it gets hit and damaged, that's hit and damaged. There's no more artificial health pools on ships. The ship doesn't just explode, it gets to 0 health. You have to destroy the individual components or disable parts of the ship, rendering it inoperable, or potentially inoperable, because it might be able to get repaired as well. But a lot of that physics stuff I am expecting this year. I think it's going to be a focus of Star Citizen, because they want to get Squadron 42 out the door, and a lot of this stuff is related to Squadron 42, but incredibly important to get into Star Citizen as early as possible in the Persistent Universe so that they can expand from it. And yeah, again, full persistence really helps with that. I'm in the same boat as you. My dad was diagnosed with cancer and severe COPD. I don't know what the I can actually Google it. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Thank you. But it continues to drink and smoke heavily, and not even attempted to be a little healthy. Sucks. Yes, indeed. I mean, my dad's just being stubborn and being a bit weird. Like my mother has good control of him. But I'm sorry to hear that, Michael. Typically, I would expect to see the Idris P back on sale in November. However, there is an Idris being added to 3.9, so maybe they'll make a limited amount of Idrises available when 3.9 goes live. But, you know, sales reasons. If enough Quantanium is not mined and refined, will there be a shortage of quantum fuel? In the future, yes. We don't have a dynamic economy yet. It's semi-meaningless as far as I'm aware at the moment. But yes, in the future, the goods need to be there to be sold. There's a simulation element to the game as well. So they simulate the NPCs and people like that producing and moving the stuff around. But if they can't get there, if there's lots of pirates, if there's blocks, if there's people destroying their ships in large quantities, then there's still going to be a shortage. Afternoon, Blymo. Hope you're doing well, mate. Are they going to patch out fitting the Carrack's remote turret on the front of the Warden? I really hope not. I didn't know you could do that. I doubt it's intended to be able to go on the Warden normally. I wonder if you can broadcast that you're carrying volatile cargo to try and get priority landing and unloading. I suspect that volatile cargo in some areas is just restricted and potentially even illegal, even if because it's unsafe and they don't want you to take it like to civilian areas. I suspect there is probably eventually they want refineries as their own separate thing, so maybe they'd literally restrict the carrying of that kind of cargo in civilian areas or near those some stations and some planets. That's an interesting one though. I never even thought of it, that the volatile cargo could be, illegal in some areas. And I suppose what would they do? Just jettison it rather than confiscate it in law? Will we be able to, for a mission, for example, board a kingship or sort of the same ship in the persistent universe? In the future, yes, it's the idea. Short to medium term, the kingship will probably only have enough interior that it needs for Squadron 42's needs, and not the full interior. And even in the persistent universe, if they don't intend people to be able to actually own the kingship, because it's too alien or it explodes or you can't technically operate it properly, then they don't necessarily have to do the full interior. You will be able to board them and stuff in the future, and is one of the sort of missions you'll have. Will we eventually be able to automate manned turrets AI controlled using AI blades? That is, I believe, what is going to be able to happen. You can either have an AI blade controlling some turrets if you've got the correct turret slot, if you've got the correct computer slots. You can put that in there and it can act as a derpy turret. We're not entirely sure what they'll be able to do. They're effectively point defense systems as far as we're aware, but maybe they'll be able to be programmed to target all enemies within a certain distance, and they try and shoot them. They might not be particularly effective, but they'll be better than no one in there. Obviously, then you could put an NPC in there in the future as well. You'll have to hire NPC crew, or you can have a player in there. And potentially, you'll be able to slave them to fire just forwards as well in certain turrets. How do you justify the price of ships? Coming from Australia, the dollar is killing us right now. I don't justify the price of ships. Buy a starter pack and get everything else in game. You have to have large disposable income and nothing else you want to spend it on to be able to justify that, in my opinion. Thank you very much, Shite. Hello, Mr. Board. With the Idris, Javelin, and Bengal almost complete on the Squadron 42 roadmap, do you think we'll see a true full-size fleet battle at this year's CitizenCon? Oh, it is full of stars. Thank you much, Flymo. I love your face. Appreciate it, mate. So, I would love to see that. I do think we're going to see a lot of Squadron 42 stuff at this year's CitizenCon. That would be my expectation. And probably some fleet battle-ish type stuff there. But it might be detached from storyline. So, yeah, I would expect to see big fleet battle type things. I mean, they're getting an Idris in 3.9. An NPC Idris, admittedly, for fighting. And they are moving towards being able to get significantly better server tech in the game now. Server-side object container stream is being optimized. They're working on server meshing. They're working on various other refactors of the network code. So they need to start making use of that, expanding the server limits, and getting multi-crew ships in a state where we want to play them. Have you seen JR Fabrication official models? Next 4 are being designed now. They look great. I know you're a fellow Warhammer modeler and painter. I am, and I'm just getting back into it. I've got an airbrush. I've just bought a 3D printer. I've got a Elegum Mars 3D printer coming to me, a resin printer. I'm very excited for that. I'm going to be printing Star Citizen ships, some models that I want just around my house, and bits for Adeptus Titanicus models, and eventually Warhammer and 40k stuff, and 30k stuff as well. So I want to start getting back into that properly. Yeah, let's look. I know that JR Fabrication were talking about their freelancer. So, let's talk about this. So, JR Fabrication, they have official licenses to sell CIG products, and they make little airfix model kits. So I've got a Dragonfly and an Arrow, which I have not assembled yet. I might keep them in their boxes. I might buy another one of each, so that I can assemble them. I probably will grab the Freelancer Max. I'm not sure if I want the golf cart, but I suppose I want the full set. The Grey Cat. Obviously, it comes unpainted, and it's literally an FX kit, so... Oh, that's not what I wanted to click on at all. Learn more. They are 3D printed resin, very high quality, very high detail, and obviously they've painstakingly tweaked the models and sliced them and stuff like that. They're very expensive, these models, but they are they are proper collector's things, proper collector's items, and the boxes are very, very cool as well. You see, like these boxes, they're sort of like in-game boxes as well, which is cool. But yeah, very expensive, but very cool. If you are a collector of things like this, then yeah, I think that there's something that is pretty exciting. I'm not sure, they are limited edition as well, which I sort of like, because I'm a monster. But check out JR Fabrication, jrfabrication.co.uk. They do some very high quality things, but a lot of assembly required. And it's resin, so you'll be super gluing it rather than melting it together. As the game evolves, do you foresee weekly news based on the persistent universe activity between orgs, not Star Citizen, not CIG content? I think you'd be awesome at doing that, if you don't mind me saying. I appreciate that, Chillablast. Yes, so that's 100% what I want to be doing. So when the game is, live and playable, I want to be able to be talking about news in game, talking about guides, talking about what's happening in the verse, as well as playing and as well as covering patch notes and the official news as well. What else have we got? I'm going to sneeze in a second. Oh, no, I'm good. No, am I good? I don't know. I might sneeze in a minute. Do you think CIG priorities are all messed up with what they are putting into the game? Adding stuff like different hair options, but removing, for the 5th time, stuff like salvage. For the persistent universe, this is the thing. They are clearly prioritizing Squadron 42 and a lot of the core systems in the game, and then anything for Squadron 42. That's the priorities. So stuff for the persistent universe gets moved around very often and reprioritized. So if I was in charge of the roadmaps of the persistent universe and I could keep people to it, yes, I'd do stuff very differently. Yes, you want to be ticking stuff off your list for alpha, sort of like get this in at least a minimum viable product state for each element, and then move on to the next thing, and then but make sure it's in a state that we can build upon it. Yeah, I would have wanted salvage last year, as same with repair, refuel, rearm, drones, medical stuff, like a load of the core gameplay loops that are obviously going to be really important. I would have wanted a load more of them in already. But they're not. They're focusing on Squadron 42. They're focusing on missions and some odd content that, well, at least it seems odd to us. But I'm disappointed with salvage moving off. I'm disappointed that the dynamic economy and dynamic mission system has been moved off the roadmap at the moment. I would expect to see them all later this year again, but it's something I was hoping that we'd have in our hands by the first half of 2020. And we're not going to have it. What about vermin and other critters that might attach themselves to your ship, or insects and critters that might sneak aboard and then infest other planets, moons, and stations? I think that could be a thing to an extent. There could be little rats like Ranta, which are I think like little space moldy things. I'm not sure if they'd infect your ship, they'd affect other planets and stuff. They might do something like that in lore or talk about it, like an extermination or something. I expect to see some cool stuff, simpler stuff first, and then if it becomes viable and sensible for CIG to do, then they might look at other things. They talked about being able to spread viruses between players and things like that, so there might be outbreaks and epidemics. Do you think we'll see any server cap rises in 3.9, even mining? So they've talked about this a bit recently. I think they might experiment with it in the future. I'm not sure when. There's a lot of stuff they want to get down with server-side object container streaming. So I think it's maybe something you'll see experimented with towards the end of the 3.9 cycle or 4.0. Them trying to get more players in again. They did experiment with it, as I said. They got some data, but they were like, well, we need better server-side container streaming implementation, and they are working on server meshing, which should solve those server cap issues. But, well, start to solve them, I suppose, is what I mean by that, because they're going to need to really dial it in. They're going to need to do a load of server optimization after that. My Nautilus t-shirt just arrived. Does this make me the captain now? Yes, Jock Cop. You're the captain now. Good job. What's your thoughts on new teaser ships straight to flyable? It makes sense to me that we're going to have something straight to flyable, or multiple things straight to flyable with 3.9, because they missed out their typical first concept ship of the year, which is typically in mid-February. Although I suppose you could argue that the Carrack going on sale as flyable with 3.8.2 might have been a more sensible reason to not have a concept sale just before as well. But I would expect to see some stuff with 3.9. Could it be the origin ship or vehicle? Oh, I think it is referred to as a ship. Ship or vehicle for 3.9? Yeah, it could be. It could be the teased one. I use Shadow to game and stream play Star Citizen. The problem is desync on CIG side, though. Yeah. So desync should be addressed for 3.9. We've talked about it. Said that's one of the things that they are planning on addressing. So hopefully that's true. Yeah, so someone else has suggested that they might get a concept up middle of this month instead. So a new concept ship, which is a possibility. Any final news about the lawsuit? That is a good question. I think we're waiting for the 24th of March, but let me just hit my court listener. Yeah, the last information we had was on the 21st of February. They've got until 24th of March to communicate to the court that it's all sorted, basically. Because CIG appears to have, CIG and Crytek appear to have settled now, but I'm hoping we get some details of that settlement. Will we need food to survive in the game? Will they add to ships a dedicated pantry, or will we need to sacrifice cargo space for food on long hauls? So you'll be able to store food on you, and you'll be able to put food in some like cupboards and areas as well. So you don't have to like sacrifice huge amounts of cargo space or anything. You've got a big crew, I suspect that actually might become something that's prohibitive, your cargo space. But we don't know the extent of how food is going to be integrated into the game over those sort of like longer times and large distances. So we don't know yet. Food in game, can you die if you don't eat? Probably. So the current system that we know about at the moment is that you've got a hydration rating and a nutrition rating. And when they get low, or when they like hit nil or whatever, then you start to suffer effects to your stamina, but also you'll get blurry vision and stuff like that. And potentially you'll start to lose health, is what I think will happen. You'll sort of start to lose a bit of health, and then if you don't get it treated in a long time, your health will get to 0 and you will just die. Longer term, we don't know what's going to happen with that. I wouldn't expect you have to eat very regularly at all, though, or drink. Like, this would have to be a long period of time without you eating and drinking. Do you think the price of Squadron 42 will go up when it comes out? Yes. $60 game. You can be in space in a flight suit, but not on the ground anymore. What? Yeah, you can be on the ground in a flight suit. In 3.9, there is going to be environmental hazards and cold and heat, which may affect your choice of clothing and armor. If you want to survive. Any news about Squadron 42? I did a whole video on it yesterday. I'm going over the updates of Squadron 42. They're working through it. There's very, very minor progress on the roadmap stuff, but it's something that CIG seem to be keeping close to their chest at the moment. It looks like it's still on the roadmap for a Q3 2020 full beta release. Well, not release, full beta completion. Full feature complete beta for Q3 2020. Bear with me 1 second. I just need to poop pee pee. I need to apply a status system myself. Might pay for my my parents to go to a nice restaurant and get them a taxi. They're sort of like, they hang around here now most of the time. When do you think 3.9 will go into PTU Wave 1 or Wave 2? So I would expect to see Eva Cardi literally any hour now. I was expecting it to be live on the weekend, and it hasn't been. Wave 1, they're going out to Concierge and subs by the 20th. By the 20th is what I'd expect for that weekend. 20th, 21st. Is CIG looking into why we can't relog after desync or disconnect? All I know with the desync stuff is that they've planned to have it fixed for 3.9. But that's all I really know. What's your strongest theory on Origin ship/vehicle in the works? They use the term, we're keeping our ears close to the ground, potentially a ground vehicle, and they talked about the cartographic company society, whatever they are, the Imperial cartographic peeps, being involved with it. So potentially something for exploration or scanning or whatever. So Origin rover is a possibility. A survey vehicle or ship is a possibility as well. Those are my expectations at the moment. If one buys Squadron 42, how many hours of play is there? I would expect 30 plus hours of play, 30 to 40 hours. That's my expectation at the moment from what CIG have said a few times more recently. I suspect if you're doing like a full playthrough, like and trying to look around and have a look around at everything, probably around 70 hours. And then obviously lots of replayability as well. When is Theatres of War released? So Sean Tracy said they want to have it by in players' hands by the end of the first half of the year. So between now and 3 months' time. No, 3 months and 2 weeks. But I would expect it to be sort of like released to either CAR-T to test at some point in 3.9's branch cycle. It doesn't. I don't think it needs to be released with a as part of 3.9, as it were. It can sort of like be its own separate thing pretty easily. Obviously, I'll put it in PTU, but is data going to be as fun as we're building up to be? Having fleet or juicy mining claim locations stolen, and now you're fighting others for claim, or is it going to be more hauling? Shorter term, lots of hauling. Longer term, fighting over claims and stuff. When they have a dynamic economy system, when they have everything tracked and depletable, and when they have zones that are outside of the UE territory, then people are going to be really fighting over, potentially fighting over these claim sites, or locational data and asteroid fields and stuff. UE claims that you put in UEE space, they're going to be protected by the security forces in those spaces. So less contesting over that. I appreciate the love. Thank you very much. Do you think we'll see the new scythe in the persistent universe before the release of Squadron 42? That is a really good point. When are they going to update the scythe and the glaive in-game with the updated models? I don't know CIG's priorities on that. Simple as that. I would expect they'd be updated for Battle Swarm in the, this year at some point. Do you think that funding will get a huge hit now that panic is gripping the stock markets? No. Because typically it's gamers or people that have spare money for spending on video games or this sort of hobby thing. They're probably still going to have a large amount of money, or they're still going to buy starter packages and stuff. It's not a... I don't think it's going to affect funding that much. I think people are still going to continue to buy. I love your face. I haven't seen you for a while, bro. Love your date. Damn, I saw you're stalking me on Twitter now. I did start stalking you on Twitter. Because I missed you. Finally, I wanted to detox creep. You need 100 detox love. I can't see these emotes. I can only read them. Why can't I see them? Because people hate me. I love you, detox, as well. Mwah. Can we board the Idris in the Idris mission? So they've said it's the externals of the Idris with AI controlling the external guns. So I would expect that people will try and board still, but as far as we are aware, and what I think Luke Presley has said, they are not. Those ships are not accessible. Was it Todd Pappy? It was one of the others. What are your feelings on the state of the roadmaps for 3.9 to 4.1? 4.1 has got very little features on the moment, but they said they're going to be adding features. I want the roadmaps to include a list of all the features they have planned, but that aren't on the roadmap as well. And then sort of like a light priority of like, these are currently a priority, or these are currently being worked on. You know what I mean? And I think the roadmaps are, other than that, are useful, but obviously they're often stuff's reprioritized. And people are aware of that, and there's disclaimers and there's explanations and all that sort of stuff. But it is annoying and disheartening when, you know, salvage gets moved off for the 4th time. Do you know why? The reason why Squadron 42's roadmap is slow. People have been talking about it. I confirmed it on my own, but I believe you might know something about it. So, they are working on Squadron 42. There's a lot of stuff that's being worked on with Squadron 42. They are making progress on the Squadron 42 features and stuff. And if you actually look at the features and stuff, there's very little in the way of stuff not completed or delayed. So there's a couple of things from last year and stuff, but it's very, very little. There's a lot of work going into finalising chapters, or they've moved on from certain sections in which they've yet to complete because of not having the full tech to complete something, not being able to finish the lighting, not being able to finish the AI stuff, not being able to finish a particular part of a mission. So they've moved on to further parts of that mission set and chapter still. So just because the chapters aren't individually showing completion in certain areas doesn't mean they're not working on later on the chapter and they're still making a large amount of progress. Squadron 42 is a focus. There might be delays in its feature complete beta, and we don't know when it's going to release yet. I'm hoping and expecting at the moment, based on information that I'm aware of, that Squadron 42 will be released Q1 or Q2 2021. I think that's the most likely situation at the moment. Do I know that? No, don't know that for sure. But yes, Squadron 42 stuff is being worked on. That roadmap, DIG are quite sneaky about it. I do think we're going to see a lot of Squadron 42 stuff this year, and I do think it's going to be a priority for them. So bear that in mind. I was under the impression that when the Carrack was released, it was also be nameable. Any hints of this feature? There are hints of it. They want aftermarket customization in the game at some point, but we don't know when. It's going to be one of the features of aftermarket customization as far as I'm aware. When we'll be able to operate wings and landing gear separately. So some of that functionality is decoupled on some of the ships. So like for example, the Reliant is decoupled on. And you'll see it on more and more ships in the future. What's your favourite $200 ship for all-round play in the Persistent Universe? Either the Avenger Titan or the Cutlass Black. They're just so multifunction, multi-use. I apologise if this hasn't been addressed already, or this has been addressed already, but I haven't seen it. Are there plans for CIG to provide stats for different components, weapons, ships in-game? Yes, I believe so. I believe it will be part of a compare system with the Mobilglass / Vehicle Manager app / purchasing stuff on kiosks in the future. And they want to have as much of that information in-game as possible so that you don't have to go to external sites. But they also want that information to be diegetic and part of the game. And at the moment, so one of the reasons you don't have that is because of UI stuff. They have got this new building blocks UI system, which helps eliminate UI bottlenecks. UI bottleneck was apparently one of the biggest things that was causing features to be effectively delayed or not being able to be completed. And that's one of the other things with Squadron 42, actually. A lot of the stuff that's not being marked off as completed is because they don't have the UIs finished for it, which they are doing now. What's your opinion on all the elevator? All new stations have way worse to get to ship than Portolasar? You're going to see stations expand, and you see lots of different types of station. I just when all the elevators are functional properly and they've got more places and in the game, I think that stuff will work fine. Do you feel they should add big bugs that they're currently working on to the roadmap? So they do have big bugs listed in the support section. So if you go, see if I can actually find it from the main page. If you go here to support.robotspaceindustries.com, and there's a load of articles talking about various things, such as the major problems in the game at the moment, things like that. This might be one. This might be one. They typically list a load of the major problems and fixes for that. So in-game assistance. They talks about all the sort of like major issues there. You can do a little bit of a search if you need to. It tells you how to fix the Crashto services thing. Check your system clock because that can cause errors and problems. And there is somewhere one with all of them combined in sort of like the current major issues. But main issue section, that goes through all the sort of like major bugs they're aware of. I find it really useful. It's one of the reasons I think that I avoid a lot of issues other people have is that I do a load of research before I even play a PTU patch, and typically I've played in the Avocado phases, so I just sort of like get used to avoiding certain content. So the only people losing money are stockbrokers. No, so they're probably not losing money. When you've got a large amount of money to leverage, you can short stuff. So you go, the stock market's crashing. Great. Let's short everything. So literally, they're basically betting on it going down. And then they make money from that. At least that's my understanding of the way the broken economy in the world works. Hashtag break the system. No, I'm a bit of a capitalist myself, but this sort of stuff is obviously really, really depressing and disheartening. Do you feel they should be, as we talked about, do you know anything about the Constellation Taurus? I would expect to see it this year. That is what I know about the Constellation Taurus. I would expect to see it this year. I thought they might be doing some light updates to all the constellations in general, which is one of the reasons that the Taurus was taking a bit longer. But we'll have to wait and see. Do you think the Banner Merchantman will be flyable, or at least has a full showcase before the end of the year? I think you'll see some stuff on the Banner Merchantman before the end of the year, but I don't think it will be flyable. Do you think the Avenger will finally get its galley revealed? Oh, I don't know what they're going to do to the rear of that ship actually at the moment. Or the mid section of that ship. Have a look. How far away do you think we are from being able to hire NPC crew members? There's a huge amount of NPC and AI work that needs to be done this year before they can even consider putting that stuff in the game. Is Data going to be as fun as when we talked about that? Good morning. I love your face. I love your face too. I might have jumped back in the questions. Lifetime insurance now only available on concept ships for the most part, or ship packages. Don't worry too much about lifetime insurance though. It's a very minor thing, in my opinion. Will we be able to interact with cargo in the future? If I'm carrying crates of medical supplies in my cargo hold, could I, for instance, open one and pull out a medipen to use? I believe so. I believe you're able to put individual items in crates that can hold that sort of stuff. In general, would you say most ships are overpriced in Star Citizen, or simply not needed and not necessary to purchase? Both. Both. They're overpriced, clearly, in their digital products, and they're unnecessary to purchase. Do I have any pets? I have cats. Lots of cats. Wild cats. That just turn up at my house. Garlic, do you mince with a knife or use garlic press? I have used a garlic press before, but I typically just use the knife. Cut, smash. Cut and smash. When will ship customization be available for all ships? So aftermarket customization of ships is something they're going to be working on. We don't know when it's going to be in game, but it is going to be a feature. They said that the manufacturer customization system that they got for the 300 series took almost the same sort of length of time as getting a ship in game, apparently, or a variant. So that takes quite a long time. But a whole feature for ship customization, we know they can sort of like do it on the back end already, but they need the UI for it. Obviously, they are building a load of stuff with those new UI building block systems. But we don't know when it's gonna have aftermarket customization in. Is it still expected to get an F7C at the completion of Squadron 42 to our account? I don't know anything about that. I know that you are going to be able to buy military equipment or get access to certain equipment in the persistent universe by getting to certain stages in Squadron 42. So, like, you'll be able to have access to an F8 Lightning by getting to a certain place in Squadron 42. Do you think with people being able to surrender, there will be a stun gun, tranquilizer gun? Yes, so there's going to be less than lethal ammunition and less than lethal weapons. What do I think the next ship sale will be? Some people have suggested middle of March, but I think it will be with 3.9 going live end of March. You'll see a flyable ship sale, like the Prowler and stuff. Probably then 50 will go on sale again because they're updating it. But I would also expect to see some straight to flyable stuff as well that's on sale. What else have we got? Currently 300 series customization is permanent, so Alpha has shown it works. When it is finished and available to all ships, do you think it will be a service you can apply to multiple ships at the same time? So aftermarket customization is different from the manufacturer customization system. Manufacturer customization is at time of purchase of the original ship. You buy the ship from Origin, you can customize it with their manufacturer customization stuff, set sort of like gear that you can purchase as packages, set sort of like paint jobs and stuff. Aftermarket customization lets you do a little bit more of what you want. You can place a coffee machine in there. You can change the colors. You can have flames all over the ship, like, you know, painted flames, and that sort of stuff, and different types of mods. Probably put the name of your ship on there and decals and things like that. Did you wash my hands? Yes, I washed them with my tongue. Sippy sippy. With how they've mastered making planets, locations, and ships, what do you think will be the big announcement sitcom-worthy? Squadron 42 stuff for the most part, but obviously they're walking towards server meshing and more gameplay. The Pyro system, actually getting it in our hands with an expanded system that's travelable to. There's quite a lot they can now start showing off. Big fleet battles. Will they be able to interact with cargo in the future? They've literally just shown off the gravity module for the multi-tool, which will allow you to move crates around that are larger than yourself, or you wouldn't be able to easily move in EVA or in gravity. So that's going to help you move cargo around. Push-pull mechanics are also planned. But yes, you will be able to move cargo around in the future and interact with it. When our CIG releasing the 2019 financials, I think you get to see some of them like middle of the year, and then like the full statement at the end of the year. So like end of 2020, they'll release the 2019 stuff. You think we'll see an updated Grey Cat multi-tool in 3.9? I don't think we're seeing the gravity module for it. So I haven't heard of any updates beyond the gravity module for the multi-tool in the works. Well, I've heard of other ones, but something that I know they're working on. I see the other one is a traversal one, so like the if you remember Satterball, the Ender's Game sort of style mode had sort of like a grapple hook that to pull you around. Is the current economy based on macro player actions, or is it based locally server? I think it's based locally per server at the moment. It's sort of like been semi-irrelevant to me because it was always getting wiped. Long-term persistence is sort of in now, so we might not get wipes with 3.9 or 4.0. So actually I need to look into the economy and see actually how it works properly with a bit more detail. Bored. Prison gameplay in 3.9. Can you elaborate on how it's going to work? Specifically, how are NPC cops going to react when you randomly kill a player? Do they hunt you down? Yes. You kill a player and you're detected. That'll be a crime. That's prison worthy. If the cops or security then kill you in 3.9, you'll then respawn in prison. You want to have my babies, Cody? Well, if I have a baby and I don't like it, I will keep you in mind. Is the current economy talked about that? Do you think they should move to whole systems releases after they finish Crusader? Like all of Pyro? No. I think it's fine for them to they can implement multiple systems, they can implement procedure-generated planets and stuff, and then add more and more points of interest and hero zones to them. I think that's probably what they do. Do I think they'll probably support triple screens anytime soon? I don't know the priorities on that. It's something you'd have to ask directly to CIG. Shite, thank you so much for the money. I think the Origin ship sale is going to be the Rover and X1 series, straight to flyable, being a minute Ranger, since they sold smaller ground ships. Yeah. I mean, I could certainly see an Origin Rover. I could certainly see the X1. I haven't heard anything about the X1s from anyone, though. Typically, I would have heard something, but I haven't heard anything about the X1s. It's possible, though. It's possible it's a whole new ship or vehicle, though, as well. So, companies have different ways of describing what alpha, beta, and pre-alpha and stuff means. So at the moment, they're in alpha. They are building as many minimum viable product features as they can in the short term. You think I could get a banning merchant of $350 in November? Maybe. I suspect it's going to start going up in price when you start to see more of it, though, so bear that in mind. I would expect it to start increasing in price around then, actually. I truly appreciate everything you do for the community and the time you take to give us the latest news. Keep up the good work. You're truly awesome. Thank you very much, Stephen. I mean, I think that's far too much credit for me, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love what I do. I love being able to play computer games and talk about them. I think I'm pretty blunt and talk about my feelings about stuff. I think I do a reasonably good job at covering the news and Star Citizen. ABG, you've been doing this forever. Well done, lad. I'm jumping back into Star Citizen now. I have a new graphics card. Thought I would check it out, how it looks now. It looks amazing. There's some cool stuff. 3.9's right around the corner as well. How do you keep up mental health and interest for this game with so many setbacks? I love the project and the community and the news they put out and stuff. I'm still learning my craft on YouTube. I'm still, expanding my sights as a person. Mental health is entirely separate from my work. Like, a setback in Star Citizen doesn't make me depressed. It might make me disappointed. I'm pretty good at managing my mental health now. Like, obviously, I do suffer from bipolar disorder. I do have an anxiety condition. They originally thought it was like PTSD. I overthink things and worry about things quite horribly. Sometimes I can't deal with like phone calls or knocks at the door. Like it will paralyze me pretty much, which is fucking weird. Like on planes, I worry about being sick on a plane just because one of my friends was worried about being sick on a plane, and then I started worrying about it, and then I was sick on a plane from worrying about being sick on a plane. Like, self-fulfilling weird prophecies and stuff. So, I'm significantly better at managing my condition now. I have previously been medicated for depression, but I sort of worked my way off of that, and rather, in my opinion, what this works for me, rather manage my conditions as much as I can myself without medication. Although I very much think that sometimes, especially as a crutch, that it's very useful to have that medication there sometimes. And when I was on, whatever the fuck I was on, Sertraline, just knowing that I had it there to take if I needed it was good enough a lot of the time. So, trust your doctor where possible. Use medical professionals where possible. I know it's in different countries it's expensive. I don't know what to advise you with that. But talk to people. Don't be ashamed of it. Nothing to be ashamed of. Just it's life, isn't it? You're ashamed of, getting old and dying and, being a human and being alive and being happy and being sad, whatever. Don't. Just, it's all life. It's all the same package. Everyone has to go through it. Everyone has to poo-poo. If you could only have 4 ships, each with having a different defining role, which would you pick? Orion, Carrack, Reclaimer, Tiny Merchantman? Is that fair enough? Squadron 42 roadmap is getting updated. It's just minor updates, and some stuff looks like it's pretty slow because they are focusing on lots of different things and not updating the Squadron 42 roadmap in the same way as the Persistent Universe roadmap, but also a lot of the stuff that needs to be finished for Squadron 42 is stuff that requires like UI to be tweaked and finished before they can mark certain things as completed. So if you notice, there's not that much in the form of delays on the Squadron 42 roadmap either. Do you think we're going to get the mini grav guns a la multi-tool for, in 3.9 for Cargo Savage? I'm not sure if we're going to get the gravity modules in 3.9. It'd be amazing if we do. I'd love it if we do. But I do think it's going to obviously be used for salvage at some point as well. It's for cargo and salvage and lots of other stuff. Is your tongue barbed like a cat's? No. How? Ha 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 ha. Not. When do you think they'll add a new star system for us to fly in? Some point in 2020. And the Pyro system, they've said they wanted to be released then. It will be 4.1 or 4.2. More likely 4.2. Do you think the grav gun makes piracy more practical? Yes. But even in 3.9, there's going to be the ability to lots more different cargoes from NPCs and stuff that you can take. It's actually thinking about it. It's possible that the gravity module is for 3.9. It's a possibility. When's the next free flight event? Probably when 3.9 goes live. If you go on a bounty hunt and kill and blow up their ship up, will you be able to legally sell all their cargo? Potentially. Obviously, some cargo might be restricted, prohibited, or illegal. If it's already been stolen previously, there might be an issue with that. But some stuff, yeah. Hello. I appreciate lots of people message me to tell me they love me. I do appreciate it. Lost my place in my questions section, sorry. Do you think we'll get anything for St. Patrick's Day? Green chips? Maybe something tweaked and new, some flair or whatever? Maybe the Phoenix again? The Phoenix Emerald? Currently, the police can't even kill a slightly skilled player, and they are seen far and few between. How do you think they'll get criminals to jail? I suspect they'll have it just so if you're killed by security forces or within an area where security forces sort of are, like near Port or whatever, near-ish, by like another player or whatever, then you also get to go to prison. But they don't want all players that are criminals going to prison all the time. I suspect as well that there'll be more aggressive bounties and PvPs going after those players. .9's right around the corner. 3.9's later this month. Bit of a grim question, but if during long development of Star Citizen and Squadron 42, one of the celebs dies, do you think CIG will have to remove them? They were digitized a long time ago. I don't actually know. For Squadron 42, episode 2 and 3, I mean, yeah, they'd write them out of the law, they'd move them in out of law, or what they could probably do is actually, as long as it's not too ghoulish, use their rig still and have it driven by someone else if they wanted to. But they'd probably do it like through hologram or whatever. They'd have you talking and not interacting with them as much. So yeah, if someone died that was in the cast of Squadron 42 before episode 2 and 3 and they're needed for it, then CIG will probably do something like that. It's okay, you can ask those sort of questions, Andrew Hickenbottom. Do you believe the Polaris will get a similar destrutting treatment? I hope so, like the Carrack. I like the rigid, strutless designs that they're starting to put in, or less struts. The Star Citizen multiplayer ship upgrades play into Squadron 42? No. Squadron 42 is set before the persistent universe. Hey, BoredGamer, thanks for keeping me in the loop with what's going on. Any suggestions to new players on how to deal with trolls at Port Olisar? Spawn somewhere else, move to another server, get someone to deal with them, someone else deal with them, join with an org or whatever, sneak aboard their ship, try and get them. I don't seem to have too many problems with trolls at Port Olisar. It is annoying when you get pad rammers or people just shooting into the almost descend from outside of it. When is the next free fly week? I would expect to see one for 3.9 live. Hi, Board. Love you too. Do you think we'll be able to keep our money and ships bought in game? So, you'll be able to keep them longer term. So, long-term persistence is in now. So, they don't need to reset the databases to 3.9, 4.0. There are exploits, there are problems, but they will still do wipes for. So, bear that in mind. We're still going to see wipes. We're still going to see that sort of stuff happening. But we should see less now. I'm very much looking forward to calling all devs. I am starting to get a migraine, so I might dash off in a second. I also wanted to do a video on the Dan Troffin and Ulf interviews from the Bar Citizen. So pad. What's a pad rammer? I almost answered your question, Aventador, like it was a real question. So, you know when you look in the mirror, Aventador, mate? You know when you look in the mirror after you've been naughty? That's a pad rammer. Naughty boys. You naughty boys. Hope you're doing well, though, mate. I haven't chatted to you for a while. So, I get on quite well with the Matadors. I know some people don't like them. I'm pretty good friends with the Aventador. Either deal with that however you want. I'm pretty reasonable and civil to most people. At the very least, you're going to have your griefing problems sorted out by CIG because of the efforts that they've made. You're a monster, though. Just remember that. Do you think Star Citizen needs more carrier-like ships for orgs wanting to transport smaller fighters around the West for battles. There's the talk of the not the Zeus. There was a ship from Crusader, which I can't remember the name of, that in lore is basically a big carrier ship that they used to use. And some people thought that we might get that at some point. But yes, I would expect to see more carrier ships in the future. I mean, maybe you'll be able to put ships in crates as well and put them on like the Hull E. Any info released about personal equipment, insurance, armor, handguns, etc. I'd hate to lose my rare pre-order gear the first time I die. We know there's going to be a deeper insurance system in the future, but to exactly what it extends to, we don't know. Yeah, I would expect that you can insure your gear, your armor, your potentially even your cargo, your customization on your ships, but it will start to get expensive when you start to insure everything. So there is a risk and reward there. Thanks, Bod, for what you do. You truly have talent. I mean, it's just, I have persistence, something that started this and that's all it needs. No, if you focus on a single task, you'll get reasonably good at it. I hope that people enjoy my content. I enjoy making my content. I enjoy that. I love the fact that people enjoy it as well. So, how do I put my ships in my carrack as a single player? Drive your carrack slightly away from the dock, spawn the other ship, and drive it. You fly it in. And then you go to an outpost and you spawn a vehicle and you drive it into the carrack. It's really annoying. We will have ship-in-ship spawning, probably for 4.0 now. I think they said they didn't have it planned for 3.9 anymore. AX115, still one of the options for the recently announced Origin project? Maybe, I don't actually know anything about that. How do I put my ships in my carrack as a... talked about that. Would you like to see a new round canopy of the Cutlass Blue put on other variants as well? Don't really care. I like the Cutlass Black. I like the Cutlass Red as they are. Cutlass Blue, looking forward to it as well. Right. I'm going to dash off in a second, I think. Have a quick read here. There's some form of autistic screech going on in my... Thanks for that. Appreciated. Perfect. Are you ever concerned that Star Citizen will at some point in the quest for realism stop being a game and become a virtual job? I think they're trying to push towards it being something like Second Life in space. I mean, there's a mixture of playing a game and being able to play it casually, but also some people are going to play it like that, a very, very sort of like deep level simulation and a life simulation. So it's sort of like trying to have a bit of everything for everyone. I don't know how effective it's going to be at doing that. All I hope is that some of those gameplay loops I enjoy, and I'll focus on those ones. With the Crim system coming in, how do you think it's going to go on with mitigating grief, not just piracy in game? It's going to keep on getting updated until it is able to deal with some of the most obvious and annoying griefing in the shorter term. So it will deal with pad ramming, it will deal with moving griefers and potential aggressive, stupid criminals. Griefers and stupid criminals that put them in prison. It will give them timeouts. It will deal with them in clever ways, is the idea. And then edge cases from that, CIG will have to work out ways of dealing with. The only real reason you'd want to use a report system to report to players is if they are genuinely being terrible people, like, constantly racist or something in the chat, bam, bullying, genuine bullying, going after you repeatedly, and then using exploits or that sort of stuff on you constantly. You see what I mean? It's different from someone just going after you repeatedly. It's a little bit different, because if you keep on going back to the same mining area, they're in their right to do that. If you're, people might have put a bounty or a hit on you as well and things like that. So bear that in mind. There's a very big difference between griefing and genuine gameplay, and these systems should help protect people from both. Any updates on Theatres of War? No, other than we know that they want to get it in some people's hands at least by the end of the first half of 2020. I would expect to see it at some point in Eva Cardi's hands during the 3.9 sort of like branch. 3.9 is not out yet. I'm expecting it to go to Eva Carti literally any hour. I was expecting it on Friday. That's the weekend just gone, but still not here. It's slightly concerning because of that, because I do know that CIG were trying to push it out as early as they could. But we'll have to wait and see when it actually does come out. But I would expect it any hour now. Right. Yeah, migraines are no fun. It's just because I haven't been sleeping very well. I've got new glasses as well. Blue light filter on these. They're quite expensive. But I thought, as I work on the computer 99% of the time, it'd be sensible. What are you using to fly equipment-wise? I've got a Roccat Vulcan 100 keyboard.
So many spaceships.
I have the Cloud 24 GB of RAM, 1 SSD on Intel Core i5-7400K and 1 GTX 1050 Well. Make run the game in medium low settings.
Make run the game. Make run the game. So your 1050 Ti is pretty lacking. You'll have to make resolution decisions there. Low settings on a lower than 1080 resolution, you'll probably be okay. You've got a load of RAM, which is good. Your processor is not deathly old. I mean, you in my opinion, you'll want to upgrade White as soon as you can to a better rig if you're able to. Graphics card being your primary focus there. Do you have an SSD? If you've got an SSD, make sure the game's on the SSD. Check out shadow.tech as well as a potential solution, which is the streaming cloud streaming service. It gives you access to an actual gaming PC that you can customize as you want. That's something I recommend to a lot of people, but that's because I'm a shill for them. Commander Gain, thank you very much for becoming a board member. There, that's appreciated. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Yeah, so I've got a Vulcan 100 Roccat keyboard, really good. My other keyboard was dying, cost me quite a bit, and then I've got a Logitech G502 mouse, which I still think is the best mouse in the world. I use that over. I do have a Virpil, a HOTAS, and Stick, the Constellation Delta. I love them, but when I'm filming and when I'm doing stuff, content, and messing around with camera angles and stuff, it's just easier to use the keyboard more often. And more people use a mouse and keyboard, so when I talk about controls and stuff, it's easier to talk about it in that sort of sense. Do you have any updates on radar and avionic components? So I know that CIG are trying to get in enhanced scanning and passive detection stuff this year, in addition to updates with the UI for ships and all that sort of stuff. So it might be part of that. Beyond that, I know they are working on things like that. I don't know exactly what's happening with radar and avionics. I know there's going to be some choices that you have, some different systems you can have. Some things will be detected in different ways. But the 1050 is a pretty weak budget graphics card, unfortunately, even the TI. So just bear that in mind. You'd have to run it like 720p on low. Shameless and smooth shill. Thanks. What's the biggest long-term feature you want in Star Citizen? Server meshing is probably the main one, just because then we can have the main core of lots of people on an MMO together. Is the idea there. Permanent progression is pretty good as well, but obviously wouldn't be appropriate without loads of other stuff. it's fine. The long-term persistence is great, but we still need resets occasionally, and we need to reset before the game goes live. But there's loads. I mean, there's a huge amount of gameplay loops I want to salvage in. You're right, Dig That, mate. Dig That does a very good YouTube Star Citizen type channel, or at least Star Citizen content on there. He has a beautiful voice. Feel free to shill for your YouTube channel. Dig That. I do love your stuff, actually. Undecided on what upgrade next for the hangar. Prospector to Orion/Mole or 600i to Carrack. I'm not a massive fan of the 600i, but I do have an 890 jump. So I'd go for the 600i to Carrack. And I'd probably keep your Prospector, in my opinion. BG, do you know what the quickest way of making money is right now? You can do good money from, well, there's an exploit which can make you a lot of money, but I sort of don't try not to talk about them. So you can make a good amount of money from mining, and you can make a good amount of money from cargo hauling. I mean, if you've got a Caterpillar, I'd probably do cargo hauling on the Caterpillar. The thing with okay, so the other thing is that if you've got a lot of time and you want to chill, prospector mining is probably the best thing you can do. I love prospector mining because there's no risk. You don't have to buy a huge amount of expensive cargo that you could lose in a server crash. Yeah? So the low risk makes me want to do the prospector more. I've lost. Oh no! What have we done? I've clicked some stuff I probably shouldn't have clicked. I don't know what's going on. Everything's exploded. But thank you very much. I appreciate you chucking money at me, Ryan Cook, for asking that question. I mean, appreciate it. Yeah, so you can also lose a lot of money from holding. Exactly. Like there's a huge danger there that bam, 30k gone. Your ship's just gone. You lose all your cargo. Super depressing. And that could happen on your first run, losing all your money. That could happen on your last run. And if you've like, well, I've done 6 runs, might as well upgrade to getting all these diamonds or whatever. Bam, it's all gone. Just all gone. You're like, huh? What? Is there more info on the 4.0 update? Nothing beyond the roadmap at the moment. And the monthly report. Thank you very much, Matadors, General Aventador. Indeed. I appreciate the Prime sub. Very much appreciated, mate. Oh, you're a fucking monster. So 2000s. Prosy mining is I'm not sure if you can use the term prosy mining. Prospector mining, should we call it? It's a nice and relaxing way to see more of the planet surfaces. Yeah, it's true. It's pretty chill. You're not likely to get attacked much as well when you're doing it. AMD or Intel, different processors for different price points and different uses. My next system, which I'm doing very soon, is going to be with a 3950 X, one of the new Ryzen chips, because I'm a content creator and it will make use of those huge amounts of threads very useful, very well. And Star Citizen's starting to scale up to a load of threads as well. So it's a nice price point for me to be able to get a very, 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 very good workhorse CPU, which I can use for gaming and for content creation, video compiling and all that sort of jazz. So that's pretty cool. I'm in school watching this. I hope you do not get in trouble for watching me. Who's this little potato boy? Do you think we will ever be able to purchase hovercars in game? To travel from local, to move around in cities. I think there might be like little. They could have individual little trams, which are just taxi cabs that you could walk in, and they take you for a little bit of money. Yeah, I suspect that's probably going to be a thing in the future. It's the sort of thing that CIG would do. Just an elevator, isn't it, really? What else we got here? Right. So I'm planning on going in a second. I want to eat. I have a migraine. I don't really have a migraine. I have a migraine starting. But again, I think that's just because I've got new glasses. I'm not used to them yet. So is there anything I wanted to talk about majorly before I go? So I'm going to do a video probably either later today or tomorrow on that information that we got from that bar citizen. Talking to Dan Truffin about 3.9 features. And then talking to Ulf about some other bits and bobs, getting new community managers in, that sort of stuff. I am going away this weekend for a hen do. It's my mate, one of my best mates in the world, Kit. I've been me and a load of we're all bros. We're pros. She doesn't have a load of female friends she wants to do a hen do with. She's got us. She's got a mixture of female and male friends, and we're the best. So I'm gonna go to Leeds on the weekend. For that, we're doing like crossbows and quad biking, and going to an adult arcade. We rented an arcade out or something like that. I suspect there'll be a reasonable amount of drinking involved as well. Very much looking forward to that. My plane ticket was hell. Oh my god! Let me tell you this story. Okay, so in the UK, Flybe, the company that I use to move around the UK via plane, going up to Manchester, going up to Leeds, and all this sort of stuff, they went bust. 2 days after, I bought my plane tickets, which were like 180 quid. Okay, they go bust. I go, oh, so what do I do? Well, there's no plane going to where I want to go, and now what do I just not get my money back? Unfortunately, I done it via PayPal, so that's pretty well protected in those situations. Let's go refund. They're not providing a service. Great. So there's that. Okay, but still need to get up to this event, up to this hen do. So I it's all in the news and stuff, and then Eastern Airways, who the actual flight was originally operated by anyway, it's just Flybe was selling the tickets or marketed by Flybe. Eastern Airways to say, right, we're going to continue the routes, and we're actually the tickets we were on it up until the 11th, which is tomorrow, which is 2 days or a day before I'm traveling. It's like, cool. Where does that put me? Oh, well, there's a limbo. So I phone them up and I say, after an hour on the phone, because there's so many people fucking waiting, after an hour on the phone, get through to someone and say, look, I've got this ticket, what should I do? And they say, refund your tickets, rebook them on our website. Cool. Simple. Refund my tickets on PayPal, or at least put in for a refund. It hasn't been refunded yet, but I put in for a dispute for it. Should be solved. We've got buy protection. Great. Go on the Eastern Airways website. Bam. Put the details in. Buy. There's been an error on the website. Okay, when I click on buy, I have to put in my details in. Okay. I'll get a confirmation email, surely. No confirmation email? No reservation flight number or anything? So I go, okay, maybe it hasn't gone through. So I phone up my credit card company. Yeah? So they say, yeah, it's gone through. It's gone through. We've approved that transaction. I was like, you approved that transaction. Shouldn't have gone through. I didn't get anything. I didn't get a confirmation. Didn't get an email. But they said, yeah, it's gone through. The merchant will help you. Okay? So the original merchant that sold you that will help you. So, okay, thank you very much. I know that credit cards, you can reverse charges if you need to. So I was like, not too worried at that point. Reasonably worried, annoyed, angry. Getting angry now. So I then phone up Eastern Airways again. Their phones have been cut off. So the two numbers I phoned, I was like, this isn't the normal dial tone. This is disconnected dial tone, isn't it? So phone them on all the numbers that I have for them. Nothing gets through. I find another number for them online for talking about a reservation you already have. And then I get through. Another hour on the phone waiting. And the woman on the phone goes, oh, yeah, we can see that you've tried to pay us. Like, great, that's good. The details haven't come through to us. We'll take your details over the phone again. I think this is what happened. The details over the phone again, pay for your ticket or whatever. Bam. So pay that, and she gives me a reservation number, and I can see my ticket now. But I think I paid like £600 for a flight so far without getting a refund yet on the other two times. So hopefully that'll be refunded. But that was really fucking annoying. Like, genuinely, I was... I mean, it's a terrible first world problem to have. But looking forward to getting my 3D printer. Got a 3D resin printer coming soon. I'll be doing Star Citizen stuff with that. I'll be doing, you know, probably customization of PCs. And, you know, I collect 40k and that's Titanica stuff. So a bit of that as well. Yeah, really looking forward to 3.9. I'm expecting Evocardi to go 3.9 in the next few hours. But I was expecting that for the weekend, which hasn't happened yet. So bear that in mind. But thank you so much for people watching my stuff. I very much appreciate it. I love your faces. If there's any other quick questions I can answer before I go and host someone. Boop, 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 boop. I think we're pretty good. Have a great week. Thanks for your videos. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love. So bored. Been working on aviation industry for 11 years now. When an airline goes tits up, it's a bit of a lost cost. Indeed, it was a little annoying. But I've got pair protection on PayPal. They've just refund the money. What SLA printer did you get? I've got a Elegoo Mars coming. I did some research into it. I was either going to get the Photon S or the Elegoo Mars, and I found a really cheap Elegoo Mars online. Yeah, but thanks for the love. Very much appreciated. As I said, I'll try and get a video up of that summary of that Fast Edition, which had some pretty good 3.9 information in. And yeah, lots of cool stuff happening this week, hopefully. I'm not sure how affected my content will be for this weekend, but it'll probably be during Evocardi anyway, and I won't be able to talk about it. So you'll be watching other people that can do Evocardi leaks, not me. Maybe one day we're about to do Evocardi leaks as well. Talk about Evocardi patches, but not today. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care. Love you all very much. Oh no, wait a second. Let's host someone. That seems fair, right? Thanks very much for watching, guys. Oh no, that's me. That's me again. No. Who is online? Who we got? Want someone totally new? Oh, someone totally new. They might be terrible though. Give this. Give Metal Storm 610. I have no idea who he is, but I'll give him some love. I'm gonna go raid him. Deal with it. He's grinding up to get a load of people. Give him some love. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Very much appreciated. You take care, and I will see you real soon. Peace. Bam. I'm still here.